Learned speakers, ladies and gentlemen. It is our privilege to have all you here at a time, the time that Sindh and Sindhi people have never seen in their entire historical existence. There were highly learned speakers, wonderful thoughts, great analysis of the situation, multifaceted. The threats, the opportunities, that the current situation posed to the existence of Sindhis as a nation. Because we believe Sindhis' existence as a nation was never under such a great strain as it is now. Aisha Siddiqa referred to the experience of social change in South Punjab or Saraiki area. That how an area which was very close to Sindh in terms of its philosophical leanings, within a period of 10, 15 and 20 years become a hotbed of extremism. And that process is being duplicated, where Pakistan's establishment is using the extremism as a strategic tool to counter the genuine aspirations, the national aspirations of Sindhi people. Naseem Ahmed, let's say in the past, we have been able to defeat, we have to put an obstacle before the rising religious extremism. Why we are failing now? Because by closing the eyes, the facts will not disappear. The fact is that the extremism is creeping in. And we say the most important factor was the nations. Though they might not be in the government, but they were secular, they were anti-feudal, they were progressive. And that was the force, that was the stopping it. There were a couple of consensus. Dr. Nasib said that, of course, in many ways, in many situations, the strengths of enemy do play an important part. But the question is, what is the part of our weaknesses? Regardless, we cannot just survive on the basis that we have got a wonderful history and Montedoro and Shalati. That is not enough for our survival. The modern world doesn't allow to survive and thrive nations on the basis of their historical past. That doesn't happen. Regardless of whatever we say, if we don't accept our weaknesses, if we don't accept our failings, we cannot rise again. And therefore it's very important that we seriously, if we are serious, if we are really concerned, if we feel pain when we see our people suffering, things don't work on ad hoc basis. The word was never simple, it was complex. Word as a result of changes has become much more complex. Until unless we do not bring these forces together, question is, but Nasir Sahab said that the only way to force, it is not only, it is because no question is in isolation. Not extremism is separate and the national subjugation is separate. Suffering of minorities is separate. The suffering, the 60% of Sindhi people living below absolute poverty line and 60,000 Sindhi children dying of malnutrition and 6 million children don't go to education, they are not separate. They are part of one bigger problem. They are just a manifestation. They are not a problem. They are just the symptoms. And we can do talks. Really, history has put an enormous responsibility on the shoulders of the people, of the Sindhi people, of this generation. Can we rise to that challenge? Number one. Two, that the political force that can deal with these multi-problems, religious extremism, national subjugation, suffering, it has to be nation's force. But Nasir Sahib put the qualifiers. It has to be secular, it has to get rid of that feudal mentality and feudal attitude. It doesn't matter if I don't know now, if I'm really interested, I can learn. We have to come out of that situation. And this nation's force, how it will, okay, so this is a plan that, okay, the secular national force, which has to be secular, which has to be progressive, which has to be anti-feudal, yes. How this national force will manifest itself? The only way the nation's will is achieved and served is a political force, and political force is a political party. We have political parties. And we have got issues. But it doesn't matter, issues will happen. Question is the most important. The most important will is, are we ready to identify our issues, identify our problems, and are we ready to take it head on? Or do we want to live in our cozy, comfortable groups, situations, biases, prejudices, assumptions, and assumptions? This is all happening in a situation where international, okay, there's always change in the world. The world never stops. Nature never stops. Nothing stops. There are very, this happens. There are always underlying factors which are working, but it reaches to a stage. See, for example, under the earth, there are always changes. But the tectonic plates don't shift every year. They probably shifted 10 years, 15. This is the time when, at the world stage, the tectonic plates of the global powers are changing. We need to understand these. What are the changes taking place? And there are so many scenarios are emerging. We can look at these scenarios, possibilities, and some scenarios will happen, some scenarios may not happen. The most important question is, and that will determine our fate in many ways, because we should not underestimate the support of the international forces. Yes, we are determined that this is our motherland, we have to save it, we have to protect our people. But yes, we live in a world. There are global powers, there are regional powers, they've got their own interest. And they've got enormous power at their disposal. So, as we say, there is a saying, if you take one turn wrong, you are doomed. We don't have that luxury. We cannot afford that. We have to position ourselves. We need a lot of wisdom. We need a lot of thinking. We need a lot of understanding. We need a lot of consideration to understand what changes are taking place. There are very soon there are changes in Afghanistan, there are changes taking place in India, there are new positioning, there are changes taking place within the new emerging powers, China, Russia, BRICS, within even there is issues within the NATO, European position may be sometimes different than America. Do we understand what's happening in the world and how we are going to position ourselves? World Sindhi Congress, I'm really very sorry that we are not complacent. We haven't done much. But over the period of 26 years, World Sindhi Congress has evolved. World Sindhi Congress has matured. A friend of mine asked that when you go to UN, so what do you achieve? Have you stopped the extrajudicial killing and enforced disappearances and enforced conversions? I said no. But we have put the case of Sindhi people on the international platform in front of international community. Our Baloch friends, there have been thousands of abductions and thousands of extrajudicial killings. Have they been able to stop it? No. But this is our case. We are, every time when we go there, we register verify. And the day will come. Festival, जब तख्त गिराए जाएंगे, जब ताज उछाले जाएंगे, उस दिन जिसका वादा है, the day will come, and it depends nothing else, nobody else. It depends on us. Nobody else is failing Sindhi nation. We are failing it. We are responsible. We should take the responsibility. We are not serving the cause. So the changes in the Indonesian situation, there are a lot of things, there are a lot of unseen, hidden areas. We have very limited information, but there are a lot of opportunities. We have to sit together. We have to overcome our prejudices. We have to create a situation. Slowly, gradually. We may be down now. The most important thing is that is it difficult? Yes, it is very, very difficult. Is it impossible? No, it's not impossible. Can we do it? Yes, we can do it. Not only we can do it, we have to do it because we don't have any other opportunity. Sajo de gata uba de kare lakhe ki daja chand obri pavan. They will come. We have to do it. We don't have an option. Feel the passion inside. Today we are alive. Tomorrow you will be gone. We will be dead. जब बुआ पेरे मुंह सब बुआ मथा सजने दिंगल ता गुड़ में सवे लिखासु. You're gone. It is our future generations. Do you want to give them a colonized sin, a sin where the nation doesn't exist? Do you want to take that shame when you die? We don't. We can't. let me see together. It is not only emotions. Yes, there has to be love. Without love, without emotion. Because a cause is not worth to live for if that is the cause, not worth to die for. And we have to find our way. We have to find our peace. And we will. And thank you very much once again. I'm really on behalf of entire WSC on this. I'm really grateful to you. Thora and Thora Muti.